Joining us now with more reaction to this story and this week's dust-up between the Attorney General and members of Congress, Congressman Blake Farenthold is here. Welcome. Great to have you here today.
Good morning, Umar.
Let's talk about this latest salvo from the White House. What's your reaction to President Obama's allegations that the GOP is to blame for all of this?
Well, listen, Texas is on the forefront of voter ID. We've just enacted a voter ID law here in Texas, very similar to what's done in other states. And it's very easy and inexpensive, in fact, in some cases free, to be able to get a photo ID to vote in Texas. Plus, if there's a problem with your ID, you can cast a provisional ballot. Nobody's being denied the right to vote. We're just trying to make sure that the people who vote only vote once and are eligible to vote.
Well, the president actually used the word that these were bogus charges that he said that the GOP comes up with when it comes to concerns about voter fraud. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you know, I represent South Texas, which has historically had some problems with voter fraud, and we see it. I mean, it goes back to when LBJ was running. It turned out some folks voted in alphabetical order. You know, little problem there.
No, I would say so. Let's turn now to the dust-up between Eric Holder and members of the House Judiciary Committee this week. I want our viewers to hear what went down between your colleague Louis Gohmert and Eric Holder. Let's listen in.
I realize that contempt is not a big deal to our Attorney General, but it is important that we have proper oversight. So,
you don't want to go there, okay?
I don't want to go there?
No.
About the contempt?
You should not assume that that is not a big deal to me. I think that it was inappropriate. I think it was unjust. But never think that that was not a big deal to me. Don't ever think that.
Now, Eric Holder was unusually this week in his reaction to all of this, saying that this all points to what he calls the ugly culture that exists in Washington today. How do you respond to the way that hearing went down? And as I understand it, you actually refused to even interview Eric Holder. Why?
Eric Holder has been held in contempt of Congress twice. We're going on like there's nothing wrong. Well, there is something wrong. The Attorney General is the people's attorney. He needs to be answering to the people and complying with the subpoenas we have that date back to Fast and Furious. We should have brought in one of his underlings or something. We shouldn't be going on like there's nothing wrong. And with respect to Louis, I mean, he said, "Hey, buddy." I mean, that's what you say to somebody who bumps into you at a shopping center.
Well, this standoff isn't making things easy between Congress, members of the GOP, and Eric Holder. Where do you go from here?
Well, listen, we've got to work with the administration, but they're stonewalling on every investigation we are doing. And look, this isn't new. We've had controversies between the Attorney General and Congress before. Look at Janet Reno. Look at Alberto Gonzales. Happens on both sides of the aisle. Congress has a responsibility to make sure the Justice Department is doing their job and overseeing. And now they're not. I doubt we're going to see anything with the contempt and criminal referral of Lois Lerner. You've got Eric Holder, who's supposed to be the people's attorney, really just stonewalling and covering for the White House.
You know, when you're referring to Janet Reno and Alberto Gonzales, you're specifically talking about the fact that other attorney generals have been grilled by Congress. This in response to Eric Holder, who was saying to an audience that he felt that he was being unfairly treated and has been going through something like this that no other attorney general has ever gone through.
Yeah, I wish you guys would dig up some tape of some of the Reno and Gonzales I'd love to see some of that videotape.
And indeed, and so as right now where things stand with your committee, where are you going to go from here as you try to go forward with your investigations, particularly the latest dealing with Lois Lerner?
Well, we voted in the Government Oversight and Reform Committee to hold Lois Lerner in contempt. That'll go to the whole floor of the House in a couple of weeks and get referred to the Justice Department. My fear is Holder won't do anything there. But what we're now, with Holder's contempt that was done last year, it's still tied up in the D.C. courts, and we're hoping to have that resolved soon. We really do need cooperation from the people whose salary is paid with the taxpayers' money. I actually introduced legislation last week that says if you're in contempt of Congress, you shouldn't get paid. Hopefully that'll pass, too.
We shall see. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Well, Iran is refusing to back down after the White House refuses